Hey guys, I've been gone for a while. I've been trying to figure out how to do this, and hope you guys like it. So let's get into it. We're gonna start this off at when the Ninetales attack Konoha. We see Minato doing the hand seals for the Shiki Fusion as he summons the Shinigami. As the Shinigami is outside of Minato, and Minato wants to seal half of the Ninetales into him, and half into Naruto, but he doesn't have enough chakra to do that, so he has to seal the entire Ninetales into Naruto. And Naruto, well, I'm gonna say a couple changes happen. In this one, Naruto is gonna have a better healing ability because of the full Ninetales instead of just half. And I'm gonna say that he has slit eyes in this as well, red slit eyes. You'll see for a build up. You'll see as we see the Shinigami pull Minato's soul out of his body. As once that is done, I'm gonna say that that's when the third Hokage, Hiruzen, comes and sees Naruto laying there. As he takes Naruto to the Hokage's monument, and he tries to figure out what he's going to do now that the village is basically destroyed. As we see the point of view of Orochimaru, he's currently in the village hidden in the rain. As he's walking around looking for maybe some new test subjects, as he sees this man with a red cloak and, well, with a black cloak and red clouds on it, as he decides to watch him, as this man is none other than Sasori, as Sasori starts to use his puppet manipulation to grab Orochimaru because he knows Orochimaru is following him, but he doesn't know who's following him, but he knows someone's following him. As Orochimaru gets caught off guard as he fights the puppet, as the puppet uses iron sand manipulation. I forgot whether it was the third Kazekage or the fourth Kazekage. Anyway, as he's fighting the puppet, he is winning, but another cloaked figure comes out of nowhere and is about to cut off Orochimaru's head, but Orochimaru isn't called a sign for nothing and blocks it. As they fight for a little while longer, as Sasori stops his puppet and says, "You, come with us." As he says, "Why should I?" As Sasori says, "Our leader might have a use for you." As he starts walking away, as Orochimaru having nothing else to do, he follows him and Hidan, as Hidan's mad that he wasn't able to kill for his Lord Joshin. And they go into the cave where their main base was after they killed Gaara in Shippuden. They go to that cave as Sasori moves the boulder, well, using the seal, and they walk into the cave as they see Pain currently just standing in front of the Jubi statue. As Pain turns around and sees Sasori, Hidan, and someone else, as he says, "Why did you bring him here?" As Sasori says, "Well, leader Sama, we think that this person might have use for you. What's your name again? Orochimaru. He says it in his weird voice. I can't do his voice. And Pain raises his eyebrows and says, Orochimaru of the Sani, you would like to join our cause? And he says, what's your cause about? As he sees the Rinnegan in Pain's eyes, as he starts to make plans of thinking how he could get those eyes. And as Orochimaru is listening and planning on how to get his eyes, he decides that the person that brought him there and the person that was trying to kill him, one was immortal and one had the ability to control puppets, well, live puppets kind of people who used to live. As he thinks about this, as a woman made of paper comes out of nowhere, reforming herself out of the paper, and tells Pain that we have a problem. As Pain looks at Orochimaru and says, you have 1 hour to decide. As he leaves, and Orochimaru sees the paper release, and he thinks, yes, I'll join this group. Maybe I'll be able to create my ultimate body. As he looks at the statue, it starts grinning evilly. He starts to lick his lips, which starts to creep out heat on his sorcery. So they just walk away. As back in Konoha, we see the third Hokage telling the council that Naruto is the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, and the council is mad, like mad. They're saying kill the demon. We should kill that demon brat. And Hiruzen is shocked at the council because he didn't think they would take it like that. As I'm going to say that one of the civilian council members jumped at Naruto with a knife that they had on him because of plot they had that on him. And he was killed by Hiruzen before he could stab Naruto. As Naruto wakes up and opens his eyes, as they all see the slit marks with the red pupil, well, the red iris, as everyone gasps, and now the Shinobi Council, well, some of the Shinobi Council is saying, yeah, we should kill the demon brat. As Hiruzen, it got so bad, Hiruzen had to pass the law. If anyone mentions the QB around Naruto, they will die. As I'm gonna say, let's say 2 years have passed. Yeah, 2 years. Naruto is currently 2. He can now walk, as he's currently in the orphanage, and he leaves the orphanage for because they don't really care what he does. So he leaves the orphanage to go see if he can do something, maybe go to the park. As he's walking down the street, as people are glaring at him, and I'm gonna say this guy says, "Hey, you demon!" as he grabs a rock and throws it at Naruto's head, as Naruto gets impacted to the floor. As I'm gonna say, more people come around Naruto as they start to pull out weapons and rocks, kunai, any type of sharp object, and somebody had a bat, as everyone was beating Naruto to within an inch of his life. And someone stabs Naruto in, I'm going to say his left lung. So that started to fill with blood and he can barely breathe. And then at the end of the beating, someone slits his throat. But due to the full QB, he heals all of it in half an hour. As I'm going to say that happens, something to that magnitude happens twice that day. So yeah, his beings are going to be worse than this. Just to make up for something later. As we see Orochimaru looking at some of the new members, like Hoshigaki Kisame and Kakuzu, as he is thinking of how best he could get some DNA from these people, as he is currently focused on getting some DNA from Hidan because of his immortality, and he would be the easiest because he uses his immortality to hurt himself in order to hurt others. As he was watching a spar between Hidan and Sasori when, well, not Hidan and Sasori, Hidan and Deidara, when Hidan used his sword and cut himself. Well, he impaled himself, and blood splattered all over the floor. And after the spar, we see Orochimaru walking up toward the blood and getting it real fast off the ground. Like, real fast so nobody noticed him. As he walks away, as he says, perfect. One gone, a few more to go. As he puts that in his secret lair next time he goes there, one of his hidden bases. As I'm going to say 2 weeks later, Deidara has just blown up a piece of his flesh because he was messing around and didn't take his opponent seriously. As Deidara had blown off like a piece of his forearm. As after the fight was over, Orochimaru walked up to the piece of the flesh. He took it and put it in a container. And he says, couple more to go. As I'm going to say about, let's say 3 months later, Obito, he joined technically. He was always there, but this is the first time Orochimaru saw him. As he sees Obito in his Sharingan eye, as he thinks how he's going to be able to get his DNA. So, as he ponders this, I'm going to say a week after that, we see Obito, saying Toby's a good boy and stuff like that, and starting to cry and stuff. As the tears are hitting the floor. Yeah, this is a really weird way to do this, getting his DNA, but it's the only way I can think about without him using his ability. And his tears are hitting the floor. I'm gonna say they're on like a stone floor inside the cave, but the tears don't just dissipate into the ground. So he cries enough to where a small puddle will be there. As everybody left, and he took a test tube and put the tears inside of it. As he says, what an unorthodox way to do this, but it's fine as long as I get the DNA. As he walks away, I'm gonna say 3 months after that, he sees Black Zetsu for the first time, and as Black Zetsu's leaving coming out of the ground, he gets startled because he just sensed that as he threw a kunai, and it cut Black Zetsu's cheek as Black Zetsu says, "You don't do that again." As on the kunai, there's some black liquid on it. As he says, "Yeah, all right." It was Black Zetsu's side that he cut, and he says, "Who are you?" As he says, "I'm Zetsu." You don't know me because I haven't been here for the past couple of years. I've been gathering information on the Biju. As he walked away to Pain, as he says he's part of the Akatsuki with that ability, I guess I can take that. As he takes the blood from Black Zetsu as well. I'm going to say another 3 months after that, we see he's thinking about how to get Konan's DNA. As he sees Konan making her paper from her body into flowers, as he thinks about it, and he says, maybe, as he got a revelation, and he thinks her flowers are made up of her DNA and her chakra. How great could this be? As he takes the bouquet of flowers from the flower pot, I can never get the name of those things correctly, and he puts them in a box where there's a seal over it so Konan can't take the papers back into her body. So basically her connection was cut with them, but the chakra remained in it and it stayed in its form. As he's now looking for a way to get Kakuzu's, Nagatos, and Kisame's blood or DNA. As he sees Kakuzu using his grayish strings. I'm just gonna call them strings. As he sees, he challenges Kakuzu to a spar. As he cuts a piece of those strings, it falls to the ground, but they continue to spar, and Orochimaru won. But after the fight, he took the string and put it inside of a case. As he says, 2 more to go. As I'm going to say a week after that, he sees that another Uchiha joined the group. I'm going to say Itachi joined. Yeah, the coup started earlier than canon. It happened earlier than canon. And Sasuke still hates Itachi, but he can't really train until he's old enough for his body to take it. So he's not going to train until the time he trained at canon. So he'll still be the same strength as he was in canon. Don't worry. As he sees this and he says, "There's no way I'm going to be able to get Itachi's DNA unless," as he smiles and he walks away, as he's trying to get Kisame's power, and he says the only real thing that he has is the gills and his sword, Samehada. As he thinks about Samehada, he says maybe it'll work if the blood is injected with someone else, and it'll sense the blood and chakra, and it'll be able to be used by the person who has his blood. So he, on a mission where Kisame went alone, Orochimaru followed him without Kisame knowing. As the mission ended, Kisame was weakened. Orochimaru appeared behind him and slit his throat. As he took most of the blood from Kisame, because he didn't know how much blood it would take to be able to make it work. And he sealed Samehada inside of a storage seal. And he walks away and makes it look like a different shinobi from a hidden village came and killed him. As they think, I'm going to say Stone killed him. Why not? As they also saw that Samehada was gone, so they think Stone took it. And I'm going to say that he's on a mission with Sasori, because he doesn't have Sasori's blood yet, But while he was on the mission, he saw that sorcery was just a puppet, and he didn't know how he was going to be able to make that work. As they're in a fight with two fairly strong people, as he gets out of his body to repair them. As he takes out his, I'm gonna say he has like a little bag that has all his storage seals with his puppets in it, and he has them labeled on the scrolls. They're labeled. So Orochimaru looks in the bag and he sees the third Kazekage. I'm pretty sure it's the third Kazekage that he has. As he takes that scroll and replaces it with another scroll, and he also put a genjutsu that the bag looked like it didn't get touched. So he has the third Kazekage. Now he only has two more people to go. As he thinks about how he would get Nagato and how this would even work. But before he does that, he hears Obito and Nagato talking about the 10 tails and the demon statue. How if you fuse the 9-tailed beast together with the statue, that it would make the 10 tails. As he got a glint in his eyes by this, and he walked up to the giant statue. He took a fairly decent size chunk off the statue. I'm gonna say the size of a kunai type of amount of wood out of there, and he put it inside of a scroll. As he also every time I'm gonna say he made the rings to absorb the Biju chakra. They got I'm gonna say they got the 7 tails. Why not? They got the 7 tails and they were sealing it. Unknown to everyone else, Orochimaru had built in a piece of the rings where it would be absorbed into his ring. So I'm gonna say 2/3 of the Biju got sealed into the ring. As he goes across the elemental nations, and as the Jinchuriki are sleeping, he takes a bit of chakra out of each of the tailed beasts, which is 2/3 of everything that the tailed beasts are made of, and he seals the ring inside of a storage seal. As he goes back and he says he's going to have to do this fast, as he noticed that Nagato has other bodies. Well, that has other bodies that have the Rinnegan, as he thinks it might have a piece of the body, a piece of the Rinnegan, but the real Rinnegan holder is hiding using them. As he goes into the room, panting because he had to get past all the traps that Nagato set for anyone that was trying to get into the room with the rest of the pass. So I'm gonna say all the paths are sleeping, all 6 paths, including the Diva path, because I need this for plot convenience. So he takes the Diva path and all the other paths, DNA and one black rod out of each of them. As he is running, he attacks Itachi, getting 1 drop of he gets enough for 1 vial of blood out of Itachi, but he's broken too because Itachi didn't kill the entire Uchiha clan for nothing. He could be a Sani. So he cut off Orochimaru's left arm, along with cut out his right eye. And Orochimaru is walking back, and he says, "This body better be worth it." As I'm gonna say, a couple months passed by, he had to switch with another body. Uh, I don't care what the body was. I'm gonna say the body had the ability to see how much chakra someone has. I don't know. I don't really care. As we see Orochimaru uh, destroying his table and destroying a wall next to him, saying, "Why are any of the test subjects dying? Why are all the test subjects dying?" He's not using any of the Akatsuki's powers. He's just using different powers or different stimulants to act like the Akatsuki's powers, but it wouldn't give them the powers, but they're all dying from that. So he's not trusting to put the Akatsuki's powers in anyone yet. As Kabuto is looking at Orochimaru saying, Orochimaru-san, we don't know why they're all dying. As Orochimaru looks at Kabuto and says, "You better figure it out before I start to take a closer view in that healing ability of yours." As Kabuto got scared a little, as he says, "What about the Kyuubi Jinchuriki?" And he said, Orochimaru says, "What about the Kyuubi Jinchuriki?" As he says, one of our spies reported that the Jinchuriki has a great amount of a very good healing ability. As he thinks about it, and he says that's the only other Biju. Well, he thinks that's the only other Biju that he didn't get chakra from because he had Anbu watching over Naruto the whole time. As he says, "Yes, bring him to me." As we go back to Konoha, I'm gonna say that Naruto, ever since he was 2 and was able to walk, he got beaten at least twice a day in the state that I told you last time. As Naruto is dead inside because he got the equivalent to, I'm going to say, 30 years worth of beatings within 2 years. As Naruto is already dead inside with a dark look over his eyes. As much as the Hokage tries to help Naruto, it doesn't work. It never works. As one day Naruto's walking through the forest of death, why not? As he feels like something's behind him. As he turns around to see an Anbu hit him straight in the face, knocking him out. And this Anbu is a spy for Orochimaru, so he picks up the Naruto and jumps off. He goes toward the drop-off point for Naruto, and the rest of the way is watched by the. Actually, no, the rest of the way is watched by Kabuto and a couple other shinobi that Orochimaru trusts. And they get back to the hideout, as I'm going to say, hold on, wait 1 second. Anyway, yeah, they get back to the hideout, and they hear, "Where is he? Did you get him?" "Yes, Orochimaru-sama. We found him in the forest of death." "No matter, just bring him to my personal lab." As they take Naruto to Orochimaru's personal lab, and they put him on the operation table, and I'm going to say a couple minutes go by. As Orochimaru enters, he puts a anesthetic inside of Naruto to keep him out cold. As he puts a stimulant that would cause the exact amount of pain to happen to Naruto if he were to put any of the Akatsuki's abilities inside of him. As he didn't even scream with the amount of pain because he's felt worse than his cells being divided and being put together again. As Orochimaru grinned, and he decides, great, I'll put one in now, why not? As he looks over at the Biju, and, at his ring, and the wooden piece, as he says, it'll probably help with the healing, and it would have more time to grow if I do it now. So why not? As he takes the wooden piece, he takes the ring, he puts it on top of the seal, it glows for a second, and then the power goes into the seal, and there's now a giant white ball of light in the middle of the sewer where Kurama is. And Kurama's seeing this, and he's feeling his power dissipate. As before it dissipates it all, he yells, "Damn you, Orochimaru," as he dissipates into the ball of light. And then he puts the piece of wood on top of the seal, hoping it would work. As the seal absorbed the piece of wood, and it added to the ball of light, and a massive explosion happens inside the mindscape of Naruto, and the Ten Tails wolf is formed, looking around, saying, "Where is he? Where am I?" Last thing I can remember is that old sage splitting me into 9 pieces. And he sees how bad he gets hit with a bunch of memories. Hold on one second. So he gets hit with a bunch of memories, seeing how bad Naruto's life was, and seeing what happened after he got taken by that Anbu and put in front of this Orochimaru person. Because he got the memories of all of Naibiji because they were basically his chakra in the first place. They were like a Kage Bunshin. They were made, then dispelled, and given back to the owner, like the memories of the Kage Bunshin. So he gets mad, and he starts to destroy Naruto's chakra coils and rebuild them, making them stronger and more dense. As he says, "Alright, well, you want to play this game? We'll play this game." As he starts to hate Orochimaru, he's going to help Naruto get strong in order to kill him. As he says, "Great, it worked." As I'm going to say about an hour stopped until Naruto stopped convulsing. Yes, he did scream, but he was convulsing. And he says, "This is great. That means the rest of the abilities will work fine." As he feels that Naruto's chakra coils being destroyed, as the first time he felt it, he yelled no because he thought it didn't work. But then he felt them get rebuilt, and it happened again and again. So he thinks it's the effect of the Ten Tails having so much chakra sealed inside of him. He would have to have the adequate amount of chakra in order to contain the Ten Tails. As he didn't know that Ten Tails was purposely doing this. As he puts Naruto into a dark cell. And Naruto wakes up in the darkness. Where am I? He looks around, seeing nothing but darkness, and he looks up to see a sissy bars. Yeah, he's inside of like a pit type prison, currently. So every few hours he would get tossed down a piece of bread, and he would eat it as fast as he could. And I'm going to say about 2 months passed before Hiruzen noticed that Naruto was gone, as he sent Anbu out to look for him, as well as an Inuzuka and a Hyuga, but they couldn't find anything because the trail's gone cold after 2 months, as Hiruzen cried for days after that. And I'm going to say a month after Hiruzen noticed, Orochimaru decides to put another ability into Naruto because he only has 3 years until he has to change bodies again. As he decides to put something not too lethal, but not too, strong into Naruto. As he puts Kisame's blood into Naruto, and after the convulsing stopped, he unsealed Kisame, as Kisame jumped into Naruto's hands, and it's weightless to Naruto, I guess. Yeah, it'll be weightless to Naruto. As it didn't stab Naruto, but jumped into his hands, as he said, perfect. As he sealed it back into the scroll. And Naruto wakes back up in the darkness, but with a flashlight and with a bunch of books inside of his pit. And Naruto smiled, but he looks at his body and says, why do I have gills? And he says, no matter. As he looks, reads the books, they're basically chakra control books and books on Kenjutsu and books on Kenjutsu and Taijutsu. As Naruto reads on, he says, I want to learn Kenjutsu. As he practices the Katas using an imaginary sword that he has. And he also practices Taijutsu Katas, just doing the stance, imagining that he's fighting someone. So, after I'm going to say another 2 months pass, we see Orochimaru thinking on which to give him next, as he says immortality would be nice for everything else that he'll have, including Datara's hands on his mouth, because I don't know how that will change him. As he says, alright, that'll do. As he takes Hidan's blood, and he knocks Naruto out again, putting him on a table, and he injects the blood of Hidan into him. As the Ten Tails woke up at that, because he felt the blood of an immortal going to his veins, as he tries to flush it out. But I'm going to say Orochimaru put a seal on top of Naruto's forehead, so he wouldn't be able to do it for the next hour or so, as it integrates into his body. Because of the healing that he naturally has as an Uzumaki, and being the container of a Biju, he already integrated it into his body. As by the time the Ten Tails was able to use his chakra on Naruto again, it didn't work. As he says, dang it. Now this will be harder than I first thought. As he does feel the power of an immortal going into Naruto, he does want to kill Orochimaru. So he decides to put claws on Naruto's hands and make his teeth sharper, like Kisame's, I guess. As after he puts Hidan's blood into him, he puts Naruto in a different cell with books about Joshinist. I really can't pronounce that word. And killing, different ways to kill. And he also has a video playing non-stop of tortures and people dying, so Naruto would get used to the concept of death. And I'm going to say one day he dropped a body into Naruto's he dropped a person into Naruto's prison cell, and he gave the person a kunai. As Naruto, all Naruto hears is, if you kill the kid, you can be free. As he says, as the guy looks at Naruto and says, sorry kid, I want to be free out of this place. As he runs at Naruto and stabs him stabs him in the stomach. Why not? He says, "Sorry, kid. It just had to be like this." As Naruto eyes went wide, as he uses his claws to cut the man across his face, he grabs the kunai after the man dropped it from the shock of getting hurt like that, and lunges at the man, stabbing it through the man's heart. As Naruto just killed someone, but he didn't feel that bad because he was already dead on the inside, and the fact that he has been watching people die over and over. I'm going to say this happened over the course of a month. Naruto had to kill people. So Naruto isn't like a stupid Naruto like in canon. He's like a more dark and likes killing version of himself. As not after that month, we see Orochimaru smiling, looking at the blood of Kakuzu. Well, not the blood, the gray tendril of Kakuzu, and he wonders what's going to happen on this one. Will Mask appear, or what will happen? As he injects Naruto with it, and this time before he could put the seal on, the Ten Tails used some of his chakra because he felt something was about to happen to Naruto's back, as he protects his back before slapping the seal on him. So they couldn't grow out of his back. So I'm going to say 4 rings grew from Naruto's hands. A fire ring, a lightning ring, a water ring, a wind ring, and an earth ring. They, the elements. But the rings can't get taken off. They're attached to his body. And the tendrils, the gray strings, they're inside of Naruto's body, connecting his veins and his organs together. As he can make it come out of his body, but they're mostly hidden. As he says, I guess that might be a side effect of having the Ten Tails. So, hold on one second. So, I wonder how this will work. As he takes, he throws a fire jutsu at Naruto, and instantly a water ball came out of Naruto's mouth without him noticing, and splashed on the fireball. It was a weak fireball, so it went out. As he said, perfect. It even helps him while he's sleeping. As he throws a fire jutsu at Naruto, and not a fire jutsu, he throws a lightning jutsu, and a wind blade comes out of Naruto's hand, and it cuts the lightning jutsu in half. He said, good, this is good. And he starts to swing a sword at Naruto. The gray tendrils come out, wrap around the sword, and throw it back at him. He catches the sword and just puts it down. So he takes Naruto, he puts him back in his prison. And over the course of, I'm going to say, 3 more months, because he didn't want to rush it, he put another ability inside of him. He puts Datara's ability. I know this is going fast, but I need to go fast for future plot. So he puts Datara's ability inside of Naruto, and the hands grow on Naruto's palms, and they have spiky teeth, but no tongue. I never really liked that tongue. He can put the clay in it, and it'll chew it and throw it at other people. But they're also being hidden unless he pushes chakra into his palms, which he's not going to really have a need to do for a while, so he's never going to really find out about that ability. So he says, great. And he's retaining most of his form. As we see Naruto currently in his prison, looking around at everything, thinking of where he could be, because the entire time he never really thought about it. But now he's thinking about it, and he thinks it's really weird that he just appeared in this place after that guy knocked him out, and that he's been having to kill people over and over again. So he calls out for somebody, but nobody's listening. So he just be quiet, and I'm going to say a couple hours after that, another guy gets thrown into his room. I'm going to say this is a Chunin, as the Chunin is starting to run at Naruto with a kunai, and the rings that appeared on Naruto's hand that he didn't know where they came from, activated, and a fireball came out of Naruto's mouth as he opened it to scream, and it roasted the Chunin. As he looked at the rings, he said that was cool. And the rings are on his right hand. All 5 of them are on his right hand. So he and I'm gonna say Orochimaru says perfect, as this same thing's happened over the course of a year and 2 months, I'm gonna say. So he's getting closer to the point where he needs to switch bodies, to the point where this time he's going to try and put 2 abilities inside of Naruto, because it's been such a long time. He kind of forgot about Naruto because he was developing his curse mark to make it better. As he takes Sasori's puppet, as Sasori's been looking for the puppet ever since Orochimaru left, he could never find it. So he thinks that somebody just took it, or it got lost during one of his battles. He thought Orochimaru took it once, but he thought about it and could never think of a time where Orochimaru was close enough to his bag to take it, so he just let it go. As Orochimaru was able to find 1 piece of DNA from the 3rd Akatsuki, but it was hard though, because of how much was turned into a puppet. He put that little piece inside of Naruto, giving him the ability to manipulate iron and iron sand. So Naruto's prison was filled with iron sand to see what he was able to do with it. As he was dropped into his thing again, when he woke up, he looked around him. He saw that all the sand was around him. He said, what is this? As he says, why they put sand in here? As he starts to do his chakra exercises that he has, that they gave him, the walking on the walls, and the leaf sticking exercise, because they gave him a leaf as well. They gave him a couple leaves. As when he starts to channel chakra, the sand starts to move up. As he stops and it goes down, as he says, whoa, that's cool. I didn't know I had that ability. As he keeps playing around with the iron sand, not knowing it's iron sand, he just thinks he has the ability to control sand, which he does, but he doesn't need to know that for now. And we see that Naruto currently he's still has his regular form. He still looks the same, but he has the rings and the few black stitches on his arms, legs, and torso. They're not a lot like Kakazu had, but he does have some. His eyes are still blue and his hair is still yellow. Well, yellow gold. As I'm going to say the next experiment will change that. As he puts some of Obito's and Itachi's abilities inside of Naruto, so he can get the Sharingan. As both of the DNA was pumped into Naruto, and Jubi was able to interfere just a little before the seal went on him, and he, instead of trying to destroy the foreign stuff, he accidentally enhanced it, making the DNA better and mixed with him better. As it mixed with Naruto and made his ability better, and Naruto, when he looked at Naruto's eyes, he peeled back his eyelids and looked at his eyes and saw the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan inside. You can imagine his surprise as he starts laughing, saying yes, yes. As he puts a genjutsu over Naruto so Naruto wouldn't notice, he drops Naruto back in. I'm going to say his eyes kind of look like Madara's eyes right now, with the black iris and then the Sharingan inside of it. I'm going to say his Sharingan looks like, it currently looks like Madara's, why not? I'm going to say currently they have the same amount of power as Madara's Sharingan, as they don't have the same abilities, but the same amount of power. As Naruto is currently getting OP fast without him even knowing. I'm going to say the people have been sitting in Jonin now, as the Jonin have been beating Naruto, just absolutely destroying and torturing Naruto. As for the last few weeks, he's become more of a Joshinist, because he starts to crave blood and he likes killing people currently. As the next experiment will put, it'll put Konan's ability inside of Naruto. This is going to be 2 months before Orochimaru has to change into Naruto's body. As this is 2 months before this is 3 months before Naruto turns 4. I'm going to say they took him a couple months after his birthday. So, this is a couple months before he turns 4. And Naruto is currently sitting in his cell being tortured by Jonin level ninja, as he starts to get mad and he activates the Sharingan without even him noticing, and he uses I'm going to say he uses Amaterasu on the Anbu, well, not the Anbu, the Jonin that are surrounding him, as they burned until there was nothing but ashes. And Naruto starts to laugh out of like an evil laugh. As after that, Naruto gets knocked out using knockout gas now instead of somebody going in there, because Orochimaru thinks that he might attack anyone that goes in there. So Naruto gets put on the operation table, as Orochimaru has been able to find a way to turn Konan's flowers into a liquid base, as he put the seal on before injecting him with it this time, because he doesn't want anything to go wrong with this one at all. So he injects Naruto with Konan's DNA and chakra, turning his body into paper. This time it took 1 week for him to stop convulsing, because his entire body was changing. Nothing happened to his eyes or anything yet, but his eyes stay as the Sharingan currently, and nothing happened to make him look like Orochimaru just yet. As I'm going to say, Orochimaru just decides to have a little fun with it and throw some of his DNA after he got done putting Konan's DNA in it. That changes Naruto's skin to look a little grayish, it turned like if you stay out of the sun for a long time, like type gray. Not too gray like in the picture of Naruto, but it turned it gray. Now, after that, I'm going to say 2 weeks after because it's really close to when he has to switch with Naruto's body. He puts Black Zetsu's powers in it, inside of Naruto. Even though he knows this is a risk, putting Konan's ability was a risk as well. He could just change it in paper and leave. Putting Black Zetsu's ability, he could use Mayflower and go through the floor, but he doesn't think Naruto has that good of chakra control. Little did he know, Naruto's been practicing the chakra control books that he was given by Orochimaru to every single day, ever since he was given them. His personal best of staying on the wall is since he woke up from a blackout and since he blacked out again. So he stayed there at least a month or two. As he stayed there at least 3 months, I'm going to say. As he has, I'm going to say, low cage level chakra control. As he didn't know that Naruto had that kind of chakra control, so he didn't think it was that much of a risk. So I'm going to say 3 weeks before Orochimaru has to switch bodies, he's moving around, panting, because he has to move bodies really soon, and this is the last this is the last DNA sample he got to put in Naruto, as he puts the DNA of all the past, and he was able to take the powers of the he was able to use the black rods. Yeah, the black rods. He was able to use the black rods, and he was able to put them inside of Naruto. He didn't pierce his body with them, but he did find a way to turn him into like a powder. He spread it over the seal and hoped that would do something. And it did. It lit up in red, and it turns Naruto's eyes into the Rinne Sharingan. But before it finished, it put the Byakugan in the middle, so you could see the one right there. So his eyes still have the little black on the side, and where the Sharingan should be, it has the Rinne Sharingan with the Byakugan in the middle. He was wondering where the Byakugan came from. Now, this is where I explain where it came from. Hear me out. Since Zetsu is a piece of Kaguya's will, you see where this is going. Since he's a piece of Kaguya's will, he would have some of Kaguya's DNA. Somewhat. Orochimaru doesn't know the landmine of that he just hit, but the Ten-Tails recognized the chakra, and he knew that the kid would be stronger than he thought he would be able to be. Well, that he thought the kid would be able to be. And he decides, because he knew there's nothing he could really do about it, as he got the Sharingan and the Byakugan, and he grew horns out of his head, like the ones that Kaguya have, but he put all of that over Genjutsu, and now he currently looks exactly like he does in the picture. The little red and black in the eyes is the Rinne Sharingan, and the black iris, and the black pupil I was telling you about. So his eye is black, he has the Rinne Sharingan as a pupil. Alright, so after that, Naruto gets put in a comatose state for like a week, and Naruto's in a cell when he woke up, and he feels a phantom pain in his eyes as he passes out again, and he wakes up in a sewer. Well, no, he wakes up in the clouds as he hears wind starting to move, as he sees the Ten Tails running out of a cloud-like thing he's in, like in the picture. It shows the white and purple Ten Tails running out of the clouds. So that's what his mindscape looks like. As the Ten Tails lands in front of Naruto, and this is Naruto in his true state currently. And I'm going to say that in his sleep, Naruto signed the snake summon by Orochimaru, having putting his blood on the summoning contract and signing it in his blood using his hand. Sure, I don't think this would work in canon, but I'm going to say it worked in this. So he has the ability to summon the snakes. So I'm going to say there's a couple snakes around his mindscape. So Naruto's in his true form, as his hair is white, his skin is gray, he has horns and claws with sharp teeth, and if he wanted to, he could open the slits in his hands to make either dirt or clay into bombs. So the Ten Tails explains everything that Orochimaru did to Naruto, and that he should take everything inside of his cell and leave. As Naruto nods yes to the Ten Tails, as they got to know each other for a little while, he says that his name was Jubi. I'm just gonna give him that name because he doesn't really have a name. So his name is Jubi. As he leaves the mindscape, he sees a scroll with the seal on it that says Samehada. As he unseals the sword and it jumps into his hand, as he feels natural to the sword, as he swung it around a couple times and he sealed it back in the scroll. He used his power to make all the iron sand mold into a gourd, and it was it didn't mold into a gourd per se. It molded into the chain that you see around him that he wraps around his entire body. Hold on one second. Alright, I'm back. So basically he compacted sand close enough to make it into a chain that he wrapped around his entire body. So he listens to the Jubi as the Jubi says, reach out your hand and follow after me. Okay, Jubi. Shinra Tensei. Almighty push. That's what he says. As he uses a lot of his chakra, more than Pain used to destroy Konoha. He used that much to destroy the entire base where he was, and the area around it too. He killed a lot of people. He didn't kill Orochimaru though, because Orochimaru would have sensed the buildup of chakra and ran. Because he know whatever would have happened next would have destroyed a lot of stuff. As he ran out of the base. So Naruto, he has Samehada in a scroll in his clothes. He also has the chain, and he took off the Genjutsu on him. As Naruto sees all the blood around him, he smirks. As the Jubi says, I need you to say Mayflower and channel chakra to your feet. As he says Mayflower, as he channeled chakra to his feet, and he says, as he's going down, think of Konoha, or something like that. As he thinks of the Hokage Monument, where the mountain is. He appears on top of the fourth head, and he's not done with that already. Alright, he appears on top of the fourth head, and he sees Konoha, and he says good to be back, as he uh, he uses Mayflower and goes into Hiruzen's office. As Hiruzen's doing paperwork, uh, he just thought about Naruto and that it's his birthday in a few months, and that he sighs about that, thinking that he failed Minato. As he appears right in front of Hiruzen and says, "Hey, old man, I'm back." As that's where we're going to leave this off. Yeah, it was a long one, but I quite enjoyed making it. So, bye guys. Hope you enjoy. I'll be seeing you next time. Bye.